So when I hopped onto the old internet box to look at anime that would be airing in January, one of them I looked at and immediately scoffed at was My Roommate is a Cat. I questioned the series' validity from the get-go. Why are they making an anime about me? Okay, is there a twist where this cat turns into a hot-as-hell anime girl with an insanely massive bust? But the third question I asked was, why am I watching this anime right now? Why am I actually enjoying it? For what it's worth, I'm not going to say this anime is amazing and a diamond in the rough. Far from it, but what I am going to say is this is just one of those soul food healing kind of anime I look forward to watching each week. This is My Roommate is a Cat. So the series follows our main character, Subaru Mikazuki. He leads a rather lonely life as his parents died in a bus wreck and he literally has nobody else left in his life. He is still young though, and because of this, he is utterly alone and massively depressed. To fill time and to chase his dream of being a professional writer/author, he writes all day and rarely goes outside, usually only to grab some grub or get materials. He even has a couple of friends, although he usually ignores those. That is until he takes in a stray cat, which he names Haru. And to take care of this cat, he has to go out into the world and interact with people. Some of these people he has to interact with are a veterinarian, the cute girl who sells him cat food, and his friends he's ignored for probably too long. And while this show is about a cat, it's really not, and the best parts are honestly the parts that focus on Subaru. Let's take for example in episode 4 when Subaru reflects on his past and how his parents passed away. For an anime up until this point that was filled with cute cat stuff, lighthearted writing, and very surface level character development, the turning point was this episode. You see, Subaru's parents died when he was just a teenager. His parents deeply cared for Subaru and tried to get him to go on trips all the time, and things of that nature. Always very supportive as well. But all Subaru wanted to do was sit in and read books, as the world he was living in was filled with pain for him. He didn't seem to fit in at school, so he just lived in his own world, the worlds that were inside of his novels. But after his parents die and he finds in their room an album full of photos and notes, he reads them. Turns out those trips were all planned around Subaru and what he liked. His parents went without him to the houses of his favorite authors and places that were inspirations for his favorite novels. This realization sends Subaru over the edge, and that's when he truly awakens from his shell, becoming the person he was always meant to become before his parents died. Not only that, but when it comes to focusing on the cat's perspective, the cat sees these two apparitions, which of course turn out to be the spirit of his parents. It's a very hokey kind of setup and resolution, but the meaning behind what was happening and what I was seeing sent me all the way to a session at I Cry City, something I rarely go to for obvious reasons. Actually, you know what? That's a lie. I go there all the time. And I guess while we are here, let's talk about the most troublesome aspect about this show. One that may make it unwatchable for some people out there. The cat's perspective. And no, that doesn't sound like some weird, deep, philosophical anime thing Futaba would say in Bunny Girl Senpai. What do I mean by this, you say? SeaTactics, you're being confusing. Well, after the main episode is finished with its message and story, we get a generalization of the episode from the cat's perspective. Now, I have no qualms with the idea behind this, but this just doesn't work for the anime at all, and very little does it accomplish anything worthwhile. I do think those scenes are cute and relatable for cat owners, but they do nothing but actually hamper the show's overall enjoyment. I don't think they're bad scenes on their own either. They're fine from a quality perspective. It's just they don't fit into the show barely at all. It's like they're stuffed in there. It feels like it's catering to a very casual and young audience with these scenes, and because of that, I don't think most people watching this show will actually enjoy these segments. As for me, I don't care either way. I understand the point and the direction they're going for, but I do get the urge to skip some of them from time to time, though we'll have to see going forward how they develop these segments and see if they get better or not. That being said, this show's gimmick is the cat, and it would be weird if the whole execution of this character is botched. Thankfully, everywhere else this character is absolutely wonderful. In many ways, this cat is a means to an end, and it does so with a resounding success, at least in the first 4 episodes. Everything I've seen so far is pretty close to my experience of owning a cat. He eats all of his food too quickly, knocks everything over. Like, I'm not even kidding for how nimble he is. He is like 100 times more likely to land an impressive jump and then topple off the surface he just jumped onto. And of course, he knocks my goddamn cups over. Don't you do it, Mr. Kitty! Don't you... Why are you ignoring me? There's a cup right there. You're not even knocking the cup... Oh, come on! I set up this whole segment and you're not even... So, yeah. It's a cat character. Let's move on from that failed segment. So far in this series, what I find so compelling is its ability to make me care about Subaru and the deep personal struggles he goes through, while also being more lighthearted at the same time. There is nothing quite as dark in anime like these than dealing with deaths in families, and the episode that covers it is on paper very dark, but the show has an amazing tenacity to spin these darker subjects into meaningful messages. Like, don't take life for granted and the relationships you build. None of what I said is likely new or extremely compelling on the surface, but My Cat as a Roommate has much more depth and gravitas to its story than you might have imagined. Doesn't mean it isn't perfect though. The issues with the pacing, especially at the end of the episode when they dedicate a portion to Haru's perspective, that and how basic and thin it is in the first 2 episodes, these are huge weaknesses for the show, but at the same time, the show isn't bad. Frankly, it's just harmless, and that harmlessness is the show's savior and enemy. Some people like me can really gravitate towards the chill atmosphere where you can see a character's growth before your eyes in very obvious and calculated ways. Though some will look at this and think it's not worth the time, and to be honest, at this point, I see nothing wrong with either of those choices. At the end of the day, I can't make a recommendation based off just the 4 episodes alone, so you'll just have to take the info you've been given and make an educated choice on whether this would be for you or not. What I can say is this. I think My Roommate is a Cat is a good show in terms of quality, and this is something I think most everyone could agree on in some aspects. But whether this is a compelling enough anime to load up and give 4 hours of your life to, well, that's another story and a question I can't answer for you. So, put down in the comments if you think this is an anime for you and if you're actually going to check it out. If you like the video, drop a like. If you're new here, subscribe. And if you want to, you can support the channel directly on Patreon. Links for everything will be in the description below. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye. Don't you do it, Mr. Kitty! Don't you do it, Mr. Kitty! Don't you do it, Mr. Kitty! Don't you... Wait, are you ignoring me? Knock that cup over. Don't you dare! Don't you do it, Mr. Kitty!